Hello Dub Nation, it's always a thrill to connect with you, especially as we're about to reveal the latest news that could shape the fate of our beloved Golden State Warriors. But before we dive into this whirlwind of information, let me make a friendly request. Show us some love by clicking the like button to strengthen our bond, and hey, if you are not subscribed yet, join our channel for a thrilling and emotional journey. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay ahead of the game.
The disconnect between Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors grows deeper. The Golden State Warriors' current offer to Jonathan Kuminga simply doesn't align with what he's looking for, and the disconnect between both sides is becoming harder to ignore. This offseason, the Warriors have been trying to find common ground with the talented forward, but Kuminga isn't exactly making things easy for the franchise that drafted him. And the truth is, he has his reasons. Until the Warriors resolve Kuminga's situation, they're stuck in limbo, unable to pursue key free agents like Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton. Kuminga, now an unrestricted free agent, has made it clear he doesn't want to return to Golden State. Unfortunately for him, the team still holds more control over his future than he'd like. The expectation is that Kuminga will eventually sign a short-term deal and be traded, possibly before the February trade deadline. But so far, negotiations haven't gone anywhere. According to reports, the Warriors have offered Kuminga a 2-year, $45 million contract, an offer he has no real interest in accepting. Why? Because to him, it feels less like a commitment and more like a convenient trade chip. Golden State is hoping to lock him into a team-friendly deal that's easy to move. They've even requested a team option for the second year and asked Kuminga to waive his no-trade clause. But from Kuminga's point of view, that's just not good enough. He's not interested in taking less than his true value just to help the Warriors keep their options open. In simple terms, he wants a fair deal that reflects his talent and potential, not a short-term placeholder deal that benefits everyone but him. Kuminga recently traveled to his home country, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and returned to Miami, where he's been training this offseason, still unimpressed with Golden State's 2-year, $45 million offer, reported Anthony Slater of ESPN. Slater adds that the Warriors framed the proposal to Kuminga's camp as a flexible, tradable contract that could eventually meet both parties' long-term goals once he becomes eligible to be moved again in January. But that pitch hasn't changed Kuminga's stance. He continues to push back. The Warriors currently plan to pay Kuminga about $22 million next season. And while that may seem like a solid number, Kuminga sees himself on the same tier as players like Tyler Herro and R.J. Barrett, both of whom are making significantly more. That's where the tension lies. To make matters worse, Kuminga feels the team has already moved on from him. They replaced his role in the rotation with Jimmy Butler, benched him during the season's must-win finale, sat him in the first play-in game, and barely gave him minutes during the postseason. From Kuminga's perspective, Golden State has already decided they don't need him to win, and now he's asking them to prove it without him. He continues to resist, Slater said. Sources say he doesn't want a deal so heavily tilted in the team's favor, and the idea of signing just to make it easier to be traded mid-season doesn't appeal to him. Kuminga isn't looking for charity, just clarity. He wants a deal that shows a real commitment, whether it's from Golden State or another franchise. A 2-year offer with team control doesn't exactly scream franchise cornerstone. It suggests he's seen as a bench piece, and that's not the message he wants to send to the rest of the league. At this stage in his career, all Kuminga is asking for is a real opportunity to prove himself, not to be packaged in a contract designed to make him more tradable. And that, from his perspective, is not too much to ask. The deadlock deepens. Kuminga's standoff has ripple effects across the Warriors' off-season. As the off-season drags on, the impasse between Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors is no longer just a contract dispute. It's beginning to shape the entire trajectory of the team's summer moves. Mounting pressure on both sides. With Kuminga's situation unresolved, the Warriors remain effectively frozen. Their ability to pursue key free agents has been delayed, and any plans to reshape the roster remain on hold. Kuminga, for his part, seems unfazed by the uncertainty. He's reportedly considering playing under the 1-year qualifying offer, which includes a no-trade clause, rather than accepting a deal that he believes undervalues him. His message is clear: he's willing to bet on himself rather than settle for short-term convenience or financial safety if it doesn't come with long-term respect. Trade talks quiet and complicated. Although the Warriors have explored trade possibilities involving Kuminga, they've been reluctant to pull the trigger on any deals. Teams like Sacramento and Phoenix have shown interest and reportedly made competitive offers, but none have met Golden State's high asking price. The Warriors are reportedly looking for unprotected first-round picks or proven talent in return, a steep cost for a player who, while full of potential, still hasn't fully broken out. Complicating matters further are league rules around sign-and-trade deals and salary matching, which make executing a clean trade even more difficult. Despite interest from several teams, Kuminga remains on the roster as the Warriors weigh whether to compromise or risk losing value altogether. A message about value and trust. For Kuminga, the issue isn't just about money, it's about being seen as a foundational piece. He doesn't want to sign a short-term, team-friendly contract that signals to the rest of the league that he's expendable. He wants a deal that reflects both his talent and the trust in his development. There's a deeper emotional undertone here. Kuminga felt sidelined last season, benched in crucial games and pushed out of the rotation when it mattered most. In his mind, the organization already showed where he stands in their long-term plans. Now, he's responding by taking control of his own future. Sources say he's uninterested in a deal designed to make him easier to trade mid-season. He wants a contract that symbolizes investment, whether it's from the Warriors or another team. What's at stake? This standoff has bigger implications than just one player's contract. It speaks to Golden State's ability to manage rising young talent and to maintain flexibility while remaining competitive. The longer this drags out, the more it risks affecting team chemistry, free agency plans, and front office credibility. For Kuminga, the next few months could define his trajectory in the league. If he signs the qualifying offer and enters unrestricted free agency next year, he risks injury or inconsistent minutes, but if he performs well, he could command a far larger deal on his terms. For the Warriors, the dilemma is simple but tough: either invest in a young, still developing player whose ceiling remains high, or try to extract value now before it's too late. What comes next? October training camp deadline. If Kuminga doesn't accept the qualifying offer by then, he enters a precarious position that could hurt his leverage and readiness for the season. Mid-season trade possibility. If he signs the qualifying offer, he becomes trade-eligible later in the season, but with limited control over the process. Breakout potential. Should he stay and receive meaningful minutes, a strong start could raise both his trade value and long-term price tag. A waiting game. Both sides may need to endure more uncertainty, unless one is willing to compromise soon. Explaining the qualifying offer, and why it might be a smart move for Jonathan Kuminga and Cam Thomas. Jonathan Kuminga and Cam Thomas are two of the most promising young talents in the NBA, and both currently find themselves in a tricky spot. As restricted free agents, they're locked in contract talks with their teams, but haven't received the long-term deals they believe they deserve. Thomas, known for his explosive scoring with the Brooklyn Nets, saw negotiations stall after refusing the team's current offer. Meanwhile, Kuminga reportedly turned down a 2-year, $45 million deal from the Golden State Warriors due to concerns over the team option in the final year, a sticking point that's caused talks to break down. Despite showing flashes of star potential, neither player has secured a contract extension yet. Still, their respective teams haven't let them walk, a clear sign of how valuable they are. If no deal is reached soon, both players have a potential card to play: the qualifying offer. So, what exactly is a qualifying offer? A qualifying offer is essentially a 1-year contract extended by the team to a restricted free agent. If accepted, it keeps the player on the roster for another season. But more importantly, it gives them full control over their next move. Here's the big catch: once the season ends, they become unrestricted free agents, free to sign with any team, and their current team can't stop them. In Thomas's case, that means potentially accepting a $6 million qualifying offer from the Nets. For Kuminga, the Warriors' qualifying offer would be worth around $7.9 million. According to insider Jake Fisher, Thomas is seriously considering this route to unlock his full freedom in next summer's free agency. Kuminga may follow suit. Both players have until October 1st to accept the qualifying offer. If they do, they gain full control of their future, but not without risk. Betting on themselves, but at what cost? Kuminga already hinted on social media that he's ready to bet on himself by turning down the 2-year offer. And honestly, with his talent, who could blame him? The same goes for Thomas. Both are dynamic young players with clear upside. But the NBA is unpredictable. One serious injury could change everything. Just look at former Mavericks center Nerlens Noel. He famously turned down a 4-year, $70 million deal in hopes of landing more money later. Instead, He signed a $4.1 million qualifying offer, and then suffered a season-derailing injury. The following year, he had to settle for a 2-year, $3.7 million contract with the Thunder. A cautionary tale, no doubt. That's the gamble Kuminga and Thomas are considering. Take the qualifying offer, bet on a breakout season, and walk into unrestricted free agency with full leverage. Or push for security now, even if the terms aren't ideal. What's at stake? There's no doubt, both players have proven they belong in this league. Their teams know it too, which is why they're hesitant to let them go, even if they're not ready to commit long-term. But with the new collective bargaining agreement, CBA, in place, franchises have become more cautious with their cap space, especially when it comes to young players who haven't yet had a full breakout. Still, replacing the talent and potential of players like Cam Thomas and Jonathan Kuminga won't be easy. If they do end up taking the qualifying offer, it sends a clear message: they believe in themselves. Now it's up to the teams to decide if they believe in them too, before someone else does. Former top 3 NBA pick sends heartfelt message to Jimmy Butler in first post in 4 years. O.J. Mayo recently broke his social media silence, posting on Instagram for the first time since 2021. And the reason? To show love to Jimmy Butler, who made a surprise appearance at one of Mayo's off-season events in China. It was a moment that carried more weight than most fans might realize. A promising career that took a different path. O.J. Mayo was once a household name in college basketball. A phenom out of USC, he averaged 20.7 points per game in his lone season and looked every bit the star the NBA was waiting for. He shot over 40% from deep, earned all Pac-10 honors, and had the Los Angeles basketball scene buzzing with his talent. He was so highly regarded that he went 3rd overall in the 2008 NBA draft, ahead of names like Russell Westbrook and Kevin Love, and was traded to the Memphis Grizzlies on draft night. But like many young stars, Mayo's journey in the NBA wasn't linear. The rise, fall, and lessons learned. Across 8 seasons with the Grizzlies, Mavericks, and Bucks, Mayo averaged a respectable 13.8 points per game, shooting nearly 43% from the field and over 37% from 3. He had moments where he looked like he was going to break through as a consistent contributor. But off-court struggles kept pulling him back. He was suspended in 2011 for 10 games after testing positive for a banned substance, which he later claimed came from an over-the-counter supplement. Then, in 2016, his career hit rock bottom. The NBA dismissed and disqualified Mayo for violating the league's anti-drug program. He later admitted to using marijuana and prescription painkillers, a decision that cost him his spot in the league indefinitely. And just like that, a once promising NBA career was over. Life after the NBA. O.J. Mayo didn't give up on basketball. He played overseas, including stints in China and Russia. His last professional season came in 2021-22, when he suited up for Unix Kazan in the EuroLeague, though his minutes and production were limited. Since then, Mayo has mostly stayed out of the spotlight, until now. A gesture that speaks volumes. His return to Instagram wasn't to promote a product or chase clout. It was to express gratitude. Mayo shared a heartfelt message for Jimmy Butler, who showed up in person to support Mayo's event in China. That kind of gesture doesn't happen often, especially from a star of Butler's caliber. Interestingly, the two never played together in the NBA. Mayo's last season was in 2015-16, while Butler was still with the Bulls. In fact, they were once competitors, even had a few on-court battles. But over the years, they formed a friendship that clearly runs deeper than basketball. Mayo's message to Butler wasn't just a thank you. It was a sign of reflection, growth, and appreciation, from someone who's seen the highs and lows of the game and is now choosing to uplift others. Steph Curry wants to coach LeBron James in his new off-court venture. Steph Curry and LeBron James may have been fierce rivals on the court, but off the hardwood, the two share a bond built on mutual respect, admiration, and now, a love for golf. Their rivalry began on the biggest stage, the 2015 NBA Finals, when Curry's Warriors faced off against LeBron's Cavaliers. That showdown kicked off a historic stretch where they met in 4 straight NBA Finals, 2015-2018, and once again in the 2023 playoffs. For the past decade, no two players have defined the modern NBA more than Steph and LeBron. But now, their connection is growing beyond basketball. Curry ready to help LeBron swing into golf. Recently, it was revealed that LeBron James has taken up golf, a sport Steph Curry is deeply passionate about and pretty darn good at. Speaking with Sky Sports, Curry lit up when asked about LeBron's new hobby. "He's obsessed with it," Curry said with a smile. "He's out there way more than I expected. He's hitting the course early, really getting into it, which is awesome. So yeah, we'll definitely get out there and play together soon." Curry, ever the competitor, didn't stop there. "I'm kind of an amateur swing coach," he joked. "I feel like I can always help someone with their swing, even if I don't fully know what I'm talking about. But LeBron seems like a great project. I'd love to coach him up." It's a light-hearted gesture, but also a powerful symbol of how far their relationship has come. Once rivals trying to take each other down on the court, they're now supporting each other in new pursuits. Could they ever team up on the court? While coaching LeBron on the golf course is fun, there's still one dream that fans can't shake: seeing Steph Curry and LeBron James play together on an NBA team. Over the past few seasons, whispers have emerged about the Warriors showing interest in LeBron. NBA insider Mark Stein recently reignited the speculation, writing, "I believe the Warriors, who showed interest in acquiring James dating back to the 2024 trade deadline, will remain in the mix if he ever seriously considers chasing one last championship elsewhere." With LeBron entering the twilight of his illustrious career, and uncertainty around his future with the Lakers, the idea of him joining forces with Steph has fans dreaming. If he doesn't return to Cleveland or make a surprise move to Dallas, a final chapter alongside Curry in Golden State would be nothing short of legendary. Two icons. One team. One last run. Whether it's on the court or the golf course, Steph and LeBron seem more aligned than ever, and the story isn't over yet. Steph Curry wants to coach LeBron James, and their bond might signal something bigger. Steph Curry and LeBron James have long been linked by one of the NBA's most iconic rivalries. But over time, competition gave way to connection. Now the two are not just legends on the court, they're friends off it. And lately, that friendship has started to draw even more attention. A new arena, golf. LeBron James has recently picked up golf, a sport Steph Curry has loved for years. When Curry learned about LeBron's new interest, he didn't hesitate to offer a little help, even if jokingly. "He's obsessed with it," Curry said. "He's out there a lot more than I expected. I'll definitely take him out for a round. I kind of consider myself an amateur swing coach, probably not a very good one, but I like helping." The moment was casual, but fans and analysts saw something deeper. Two of the most competitive players of their generation are now bonding over golf, and possibly hinting at a much bigger partnership. The NBA buzz. Could they play together? Over the past year, speculation has swirled about the possibility of LeBron joining forces with Curry in Golden State. Multiple reports have noted that the Warriors explored the idea during previous trade windows, and the interest has never fully faded. Though LeBron opted into his contract with the Lakers for the upcoming season, some insiders believe he may consider a move in the near future, especially as his career winds down. Several teams, including the Warriors, are rumored to be monitoring the situation closely. Curry and LeBron have never played together professionally, but their chemistry has been on display during international events and off-season appearances. Their connection off the court, strengthened by mutual respect and a shared legacy, makes the idea of them teaming up feel less like fantasy and more like a possibility. What's standing in the way? Despite the growing curiosity, several obstacles remain. LeBron has a no-trade clause, and the Lakers' front office has yet to indicate any interest in parting ways with him. Financially, a move to the Warriors would also be complex, requiring significant roster changes and salary cap navigation. Still, for players of this magnitude, where there's will, there's often a way, especially if it's for one last championship run. Why this matters? If LeBron and Curry ever do join forces, it would be one of the most iconic pairings in basketball history. Not just because of their accolades, MVPs, championships, Olympic medals, but because of what they represent. Two generational leaders finally sharing the same jersey after years of defining a competitive era. And even if it never happens on the court, moments like Curry offering to coach LeBron in golf show just how much their story is still evolving. From rivals to role models, and maybe someday, teammates. Genuine Warriors Bulls trade rumor ignores major roster hole. The Golden State Warriors might finally have a serious suitor for Jonathan Kuminga, but a widely discussed trade scenario with the Chicago Bulls misses one crucial point. After the initial wave of free agency and early off-season trades, most of the NBA buzz has shifted toward restricted free agents. Jonathan Kuminga, Josh Giddey, Quentin Grimes, and Cam Thomas all remain unsigned with their current teams, keeping the rumor mill alive. Following the addition of Jimmy Butler last season, Kuminga's role on the Warriors has become somewhat redundant. Now, reports suggest he could be on the move to Chicago in a potential deal for Josh Giddey. Warriors and Bulls linked in new trade rumors. Kuminga has made it clear he doesn't want to stay in Golden State. He's reportedly lost faith in the organization's commitment to his development. After a diminished role during last year's playoff run, it's obvious he's no longer seen as part of the Warriors' long-term plans. Publicly, the Warriors claim they want to mend fences, but their actions suggest otherwise. Behind the scenes, they've been eyeing Giddey for quite some time. According to insider Jake Fisher, Golden State's interest in Giddey is real. I've been told the Warriors continue to value Giddey's skill set and have communicated their interest to his camp. But there just doesn't seem to be a clear path to a deal. That clear path might not be obvious, but it certainly exists. Both teams could simply re-sign their restricted free agents and structure a trade from there, assuming salaries match up. On paper, a swap makes sense. Giddey is a gifted playmaker who could flourish alongside Steph Curry, and the Bulls could benefit from Kuminga's athletic scoring next to Kobe White and Matisse Buzelis. But here's the problem: it doesn't solve Golden State's biggest need. Warriors risk overlooking critical frontcourt gap. Between Stephen Curry, Brandon Podziemski, Jimmy Butler, and even free agent DeAnthony Melton, a rumored target, the Warriors aren't lacking in perimeter creators or secondary ball handlers. Giddey would be a valuable addition, but also a luxury. What the Warriors do lack is size. Right now, they don't have a true reliable center on the roster. Draymond Green has held it down in small ball lineups for years, but if Golden State wants to seriously contend again, they need someone who can rebound, defend the paint, and add interior presence. That's why trading for Nikola Vucevic, not Giddey, makes far more sense. Vucevic may not be a defensive anchor, but he's a skilled big who can stretch the floor, rebound at a high level, and complement Draymond in the frontcourt. He fits a need the Warriors have been struggling to fill, and is a more natural upgrade for their rotation than another playmaker. There have even been whispers linking Golden State to veteran big Al Horford, though his age and potential retirement complicate that path. In contrast, Vucevic is available, productive, and makes immediate impact sense. The bottom line: Josh Giddey is a talented player, and Golden State's interest is justified. But before they go adding luxury pieces, the Warriors need to address what's actually missing from their roster. A Giddey for Kuminga deal may seem balanced on the surface, but it doesn't move the needle in the right direction. If the Warriors want to maximize their window with Steph and make a real title push, the solution is clear: prioritize size, rebounding, and frontcourt presence. And that starts with looking past Giddey and straight toward someone like Vucevic. Warriors must think long-term, not just big names. The appeal of Josh Giddey is understandable. He's a 21-year-old, 6 feet 8 inches guard with elite court vision and a high basketball IQ. In the right system, he could thrive as a connector, and Steve Kerr's ball movement offense certainly seems like a good fit. But this isn't just about fit, it's about balance. Golden State already has an aging core and limited time to make another championship push. With Steph Curry turning 37 next season, every move needs to be strategic, focused on winning now, not building for the next era. That's why the backlash among some Warriors fans regarding the Giddey rumor is warranted. Many see this potential deal as a lateral move at best, or worse, a distraction from more urgent needs. Social media has been flooded with comments from frustrated fans pointing out the team's rebounding struggles and lack of size during critical moments last season. The numbers back them up. The Warriors ranked in the bottom third of the league in rebounding and points allowed in the paint. The suggestion that the Warriors are prioritizing a player like Giddey, while true centers like Vucevic are potentially available, has left many scratching their heads. Bulls also facing pressure to reshape their roster. From Chicago's perspective, there's appeal in shaking things up as well. The Bulls are caught in a kind of basketball purgatory, not quite rebuilding, but not contending either. Adding a high-upside talent like Kuminga could signal a shift toward a younger, more dynamic roster centered around athleticism and potential. With Lonzo Ball still facing uncertainty and DeMar DeRozan gone, the Bulls need to find a new identity. Kuminga, while still raw, brings elite defensive tools and explosive scoring in transition, something Chicago has lacked. He could thrive in a system that gives him more freedom and responsibility, something he was clearly denied in Golden State. Still, Chicago parting ways with Vucevic or Giddey would be more than just a roster shuffle. It would be a philosophical pivot. It would show a willingness to embrace risk, bet on youth, and finally stop treading water in the middle of the Eastern Conference. What happens next? At this point, nothing is imminent, but the pieces are on the board. The Warriors front office has always operated with discretion, and league sources suggest the team is actively exploring multiple options, including packages that involve other teams in a potential three-way deal to get a big man and still bring in Giddey. Meanwhile, the Bulls are said to be evaluating offers for several players as they weigh whether to enter a full rebuild or try to retool around younger pieces. One thing's clear, Jonathan Kuminga will likely not be a Warrior for much longer. His relationship with the team has deteriorated, and with limited minutes available behind Butler and others, both sides would benefit from a fresh start. If the Warriors want to make one last deep playoff run during the Curry era, they can't afford to get caught up in flashy names or positional redundancies. They need to get back to the fundamentals, and that starts with fixing their front court. Because in today's NBA, small ball alone doesn't win championships anymore.